Welcome to eDay17. Today is Wednesday. We are going to learn how to solve 3x3 systems of equations. I personally find success with this is all about organization. So I do suggest that you follow some of the tricks that I give you with keeping your work organized. These are harder. We're going to spend 3 days on it. Today might be a day that you want to Zoom with me to go through and get some extra help. Or if you did it and you think you understand the process and you didn't get the right answer, I always find my mistakes come from errors in signs or multiplication or simple math miscomputations. So just kind of keep that in mind as you're checking things over. And if you do need help, just email me or send me a screenshot of the problem you got stuck on and I will find your mistake. But if you're going to send me a picture, I really do need to have your work organized. So what I'm going to suggest that we do, and I want everybody to do this for me, is I want you to label your equations A, B, and C. It'll make it much easier for us to decide what equation we're working with. First thing you have to decide is which variable do you want to eliminate first. And you're going to have to do the same variable 2 different times. I'm going to choose Z for this equation. So your ultimate goal is to find two of these equations and eliminate that same variable. So let's start with equation A and B. If I choose A and B, they look like they are set up already very nicely in order for the Z to cancel out. So right now I am just rewriting them. And if we do our elimination and add these equations up, you get 6x plus 5y. Your z is eliminated, and that equals negative 24. Please box that answer. It'll be very helpful for you in our future steps. Now we have to take 2 different equations, and we have to eliminate z again. So remember, whatever variable you choose to eliminate, you have to eliminate it 2 different times with different equations. So I'm going to choose this time equation A and equation C. So I'm just going to get things set up by rewriting A and C. Now, as you're looking at this, the Z will not eliminate right away. What you have to do is actually change the bottom equation by multiplying by 2. And these off to the side tell me which equation I'm working with and what I'm multiplying by to be able to get them to eliminate. Those are very important steps if you want someone else like me to be able to review your work and check your answers. It makes it much easier as you're looking through it. So here's my equation A, just rewritten. And now my equation C, I'm going to multiply everything by 2. That becomes 14x minus 8y minus 2z equals 58. Now we're ready to eliminate our z. So we're going to add our 2 equations up, and we end up with 15x minus 5y, z's eliminate equals 45. Please box that. So some of the tricks that I want you to do is first labeling your equations, telling me what you do to your equations. And what I mean by that is when you multiply an equation by a number. Next, you're going to take the 2 problems that you had boxed and put them together. And this is now something that you should be very familiar with because it's just a 2x2 system of equations. And with a 2x2, you know you did the steps above right if you have the same 2 letters. If you had different letters, that meant that you didn't eliminate the same letter to begin with. This problem works out so nicely because our y's will eliminate without any extra work. So adding these up, we get 21x, the y's eliminate, equals 21. And when you divide by 21, your x is 1. Please box that answer. Now we're going to go right back up to one of the equations that we boxed. It doesn't matter which one you use. You choose. I'm going to use the one over here, mainly just because I have more room. And we are going to plug in the x equals 1 that we just got. So we have 15. We're going to replace this x with 1. And this will allow us to solve for our y. So 15 minus 5y equals 45. Subtract 15 to get 30. And divide by -5 to get -6. And let's box that answer. Now we're working our way back up. We are back to one of the original equations. It doesn't matter which one you use. You choose whichever one is going to be easiest for you. I'm going to choose my first equation. I'm going to replace my y, and I'm going to replace the x with what we got. And that will give me 1 was my x. The y we found was -6. And this will allow us to solve for our z. So simplifying, we have 1 minus 18 plus 2z equals -13. And just simplifying this, we have -17 plus 2z equals -13. Add 17 to get 4. And divide by 2 to get 2. Now write your final ordered pair as an order triple, your x, y, z. Your x was 1, your y was -6, and your z was 2. Now, like I said, these problems require a lot of work. On homework, I need to see all this work. And I want it to be very organized. I need to be able to follow along, and I will be checking closely. You have 5 questions for homework each of our next 3 days. Let's try another one. And if you want, you can always try it on your own and see how you do, or follow it along with me. First off, remember, I want everybody to label your equations A, B, and C. And don't skip that step. I really think it's important. You can't go wrong. You choose what letter you're going to eliminate. I think today I'm going to eliminate my x's. Maybe some of you would have chosen your z. You can't go wrong. You'll get the same answer in the end. Now you're going to pick 2 of these equations to eliminate x. I'm going to start off with my a and c because those 2 are set up nicely that I don't have to do much work to get the x to eliminate. So first, just rewrite those 2 equations. There is my A and my C. And when I add these up, my x's eliminate. I get -6y plus 3z equals -39. Please box that answer. Very important that you keep your work organized because you will use those. Now remember, you have to eliminate your x again. You have to use 2 different equations. Yes, one equation gets repeated, but you have to use one of the other letters. I'm going to choose my B and my C because I think those are going to eliminate nicely. First thing I'm going to do is just go ahead and rewrite my B and C. And once you're done rewriting, remember your goal is to eliminate x's. What do you have to do to get it to eliminate the x? Well, we have to multiply this first equation b by 5. So let's go ahead and do that and make sure you're multiplying every single thing by 5. Our new equation then becomes -5x plus 25y plus 20z equals -5. And I'm going to rewrite my equation c because I don't need to do anything to it. And now it's time to add these up to eliminate our x. Your x's eliminate, and you get 22y plus 24z equals -32. Please box that answer. All right, so next thing we do is we take our 2 boxed answers and we put them together. So before I even begin, I just stack them right on top of each other. So a little rewriting. Like I said, it's all about organization. And typically when I make a mistake, it's silly math computation. It's not always, I understand the order of it and what I'm supposed to do, but always go back and double check your signs and your multiplication. Now, which letter would you like to eliminate here? It's just a 2 by 2 equation. I would eliminate the z's. And in order to do that, we're going to have to multiply this first equation by -8. And this might require some calculator work. So go ahead and take out your calculator. Pause the video if you need to go grab it. This is 48y minus 24z equals positive 312. And then I'm just going to rewrite the other equation. I don't need to do anything to it. Now we're just working with this 2 by 2 equation, and let's see what we get when we add them up. We have 70y, and those cancel, equals 280. And when you divide by 70, your y is 4. Let's take this answer, and you just have to work your way back up. So going to one of the two equations we've already worked with, and I'm going to go with this orange one over here. Just looks a little, the numbers are a little smaller here for me to work with. And I'm going to replace my y. What did we say y was? Y is 4. So I'm going to replace my y with 4. And that's going to allow me to solve for the z. So -24 plus 3z equals -39. Adding 24 over gives me -15. And divide by 3 to get z is -5. So now I have two of my three variables found, and we go back to the beginning, back to the original. And you have to decide which one do you want to use. It doesn't really matter. I think I'm going to use this middle one. And to give myself some room, I'm going to go ahead and rewrite it off to the side, and then I will zoom in for us. So I'm going to replace the the z with -5, and I'm going to replace my y with 4. So I have -x, my y is 4, and my z is -5 equals -1. So this is 20 and a -20. Those cancel out very nicely, so those will go away. And we have -x equals -1, so x equals 1. Please write your answer as an ordered triple, x, y, z, so 1, 4, and -5. Now, if you wanted to check, make sure your answers are right, I know you have an answer key, but thinking about what a multiple choice would look like, granted on a multiple choice test, I'm going to have you just name one of the ordered pairs so that you're forced to do all the work. If not, what you can do is just plug in your x, y, and z into each of the equations and just double check that it's true for all three equations. So if you have a problem that is saying which answer is correct and they give you different x, y's, and z's, plug it in to check. Don't rely on that method for your exam. I'm going to require you to do work based off of how I asked the question. Now, our next 3 days worth of homework are all going to be the same topic. So once you're good with this on day 17, this is Wednesday, your Thursday and Friday lessons are going to be very similar. Friday might be a little bit different because we have some missing variables. We're just getting you practice. Today's homework are the odds. Tomorrow I have 2 examples for us to do for notes again, and we'll do the evens. And then the third day, we'll have 2 examples for notes and a worksheet. Like I said, please contact me. I think this is probably one of your hardest lessons to do independently, and I hope this went okay. If not, email me with questions or Zoom with me.